Jardim de Sequeiro is a naturalistic and seasonal garden planted at the Instituto Central de Ciências, an iconic brutalist building at the University of Brasilia and a landmark of modern Brazilian architecture that was designed by Oscar Niemeyer and João Filgueiras Lima in 1962. The garden extends for the full 732 meters of the megastructure, flanked by 243 pre-stressed concrete pillars and divided into modules by passages, squares, and open spaces. In total, Jardim de Sequeiro is composed of over 5,000 square meters of rooftop gardens planted on a thin layer of soil. The garden exists in continuity with the region's savanna biome, with its dry and rainy seasons. The garden is rain-fed, relying entirely on rainfall, and its dynamics walk in tandem with the region's climate. The verdant beauty of the first flowers in late December gives way to the chaotic magnificence of its later phases in March and April, when the garden becomes full of bees and butterflies. In May, when the dry season begins, the garden becomes an earthy palette of decaying herbs and eventually withers and dies. The seeds are then collected and the soil is allowed to rest before the next cycle of the garden begins. As such, Jardim de Sequeiro can be considered a garden installation, a temporary occupation that is redesigned and improved every year. The garden's palette is primarily based on native grasses and annual flowers, with a handful of exotic species such as linseed and aloe added in to enrich the garden's composition and biodiversity. Our hope is that the garden will help the larger community build connections with the native savanna landscape and its seasons as they follow each of the garden's phases, from the preparation of the soil and planting in October and November to its most resplendent moments in March and April, when the gardens become an open meadow that contrasts beautifully with the concrete brutalism of the building it calls home.